Stop waiting for the perfect moment to arrive. Stop waiting for the money, the car, the validation, or the applause to show up before you start acting like the version of yourself you've always dreamed of becoming. The truth is, you cannot wait for the results to appear before you change your behavior, because results don't create identity. Identity creates results. The millionaire version of you doesn't start existing when you finally see 7 figures in your account. That version of you is already here, waiting to be expressed through your daily decisions, your habits, your discipline, and your faith. You don't become that person one day. You choose to act like them today. Everything changes when you decide to move as if it's already done. When you wake up in the morning and carry yourself with purpose. When you speak with confidence, when you operate with clarity and vision, something in the atmosphere begins to shift. You start to command attention not because of what you have, but because of what you believe. The universe, God, and every opportunity around you begin to respond to your vibration of certainty. That's the difference between someone who hopes for success and someone who expects it. Hope waits. Expectation acts. Every single thing you do is a seed. Every thought, every word, every decision. It's all planting something. If you plant hesitation, you'll grow delay. If you plant fear, you'll grow limitation. But if you plant faith, discipline, and consistent action, you'll grow opportunity. The millionaire version of you is not luckier. They're more consistent in the kind of seeds they plant. They understand that you don't need to see results today to trust that the harvest is coming tomorrow. So they work in silence, they build with purpose, and they stay faithful even when no one notices. You can't live in scarcity and expect abundance to knock on your door. You can't keep thinking small and expect to experience expansion. You can't complain about where you are while refusing to outgrow it. The person who becomes wealthy doesn't change when the money comes. They change long before it arrives. They think differently, speak differently, and move differently. They carry themselves with authority because they know that wealth is not money. It's a mindset, it's responsibility, it's character, it's stewardship. Excellence must become your new standard, not an occasional effort. How you do the small things reveals how you'll handle the big things. The millionaire version of you doesn't cut corners or settle for good enough. They treat every task, every conversation, and every opportunity as sacred ground. They show up on time, they prepare with purpose, and they execute with precision. Because they know success doesn't come to the most talented, it comes to the most consistent. You can't speak faith and think fear at the same time. You can't pray for overflow while operating with a mindset of lack. The millionaire version of you doesn't beg for opportunities. They create them. They don't wait to be discovered. They build their value until discovery becomes inevitable. They walk into every room as if they belong there, not because of arrogance, because they've already rehearsed their greatness in private. When your mindset aligns with your mission, manifestation is automatic. Your environment must reflect where you're going, not where you've been. The people around you should challenge you, stretch you, and inspire you to rise. The spaces you spend time in should energize you, not drain you. The millionaire version of you doesn't tolerate chaos, they build order. They don't surround themselves with negativity. They cultivate faith and focus. They know that energy is contagious, and they guard theirs with intention because they understand that every distraction has a cost. You have to stop asking for permission to elevate. Nobody is coming to hand you your future. You already have divine authorization to rise. You've already been equipped with everything you need: the ideas, the gifts, the talent, the capacity. The question is not whether you're capable, it's whether you're willing. The moment you decide that you are enough, that you have enough, and that you can start where you are, everything begins to change. Action produces momentum, and momentum produces transformation. Start showing up like the version of you that already made it. Speak with conviction, move with confidence, plan with wisdom, and execute with precision. Don't wait for the stage, prepare for it. Don't wait for the applause. Perform as if the world is already watching. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, focus over fear, and growth over comfort, you're aligning yourself with the reality that already belongs to you. You're not becoming someone new. You're revealing who you've always been. The millionaire version of you is not just a dream. It's a decision. It's not something you chase. It's something you embody. Every day you act like that version of you, life starts to rearrange itself to fit your new level. Doors open that once were closed. Opportunities find you instead of you chasing them, because success doesn't come to the one who waits. It comes to the one who walks in it before it arrives. Most people overlook the power of the small decisions they make every day. They think big dreams require only big moves. But the truth is, success is built in the tiny, invisible actions that happen when nobody is watching. Every habit you repeat becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. If your actions are lazy, inconsistent, or rooted in doubt, you're building a life that reflects that. But if your actions are disciplined, focused, and fueled by belief, you are constructing a destiny far greater than your current circumstances. Seeds don't look like trees. That's why so many people quit before the harvest shows up. They want instant growth, instant reward, instant transformation. But a seed planted today doesn't bear fruit tomorrow. It has to be buried, watered, and guarded through storms and seasons of silence. Your success works the same way. The millionaire version of you is the harvest, but right now, you must be willing to plant with patience and work without applause. What you water grows. If you water fear, thinking about everything that could go wrong, you'll grow paralysis. If you water doubt, listening to voices telling you you're not enough, you'll grow hesitation. But if you water belief, if you speak life over your goals, if you act like what you desire is already on the way, you'll grow a future that reflects that faith. Your thoughts are seeds. Your words are seeds. And what you constantly feed will become your reality. Consistency is a spiritual law. You don't need motivation every day to succeed. You need commitment. The seed doesn't ask for permission to grow. It follows the law of its design. It just keeps pushing inch by inch through dirt and darkness until it reaches the light. In the same way, you must keep pushing even when the environment looks impossible, even when no progress seems visible. Growth is happening even when you can't see it yet. Excuses are seeds too, but they only grow regret. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," you are delaying the version of yourself that you are capable of becoming today. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you are choosing the temporary pleasure of now over the permanent reward of later. The millionaire you does not plant the seeds of procrastination or comfort. They plant discipline, they plant focus, they plant action. Excellence is a seed that multiplies. When you show up and give your best, not because someone is watching, but because that's who you are, opportunities begin to grow around you. People notice, doors open, and resources move in your direction. You don't need to chase success when you're sowing seeds that naturally attract it. Your work ethic becomes a magnet pulling your dreams closer every single day. There will be days when you question whether it's worth it. Days when you feel buried instead of planted. But that is when you must remember the darkest moments usually come right before breakthrough. Seeds push against resistance because resistance builds strength. Every challenge is developing a deeper root system in you so your success can withstand the weight that's coming. The environments you choose to place yourself in matter. A seed cannot thrive in toxic soil. Likewise, you cannot expect growth while surrounding yourself with distractions, negativity, and stagnation. Protect your goals, protect your peace, and protect the standards you've set. You must create a space where growth is not only possible, but inevitable. One brave step every day is better than waiting for the perfect step later. The millionaire version of you is counting on the seeds you plant now. They are relying on your dedication, your sacrifice, and your willingness to push past comfort. Nothing you do with intention is wasted, and no seed planted in faith will fail to produce a harvest when its time comes. Look at your life and ask yourself, what am I planning today? Because the answer to that question is the preview of your next season. You cannot attract prosperity while your thoughts are chained to scarcity. You cannot expect abundance to chase you if your mind is still operating from fear and limitation. Everything you experience externally is first created internally. The thoughts you nurture become the blueprint of your reality. If your inner dialogue is filled with lack, doubt, and what ifs, your outer world will mirror those same conditions. But if you train your mind to think possibility, to focus on gratitude, and to speak life into your vision, you start opening doors that were once invisible to you. Your words carry creative power. Every sentence you speak is either constructing your future or destroying your confidence. People often use their tongue to curse their potential without realizing it. They say things like, I can't afford that, or I'm not ready yet, and then wonder why opportunities pass them by. The truth is your mouth is the steering wheel of your life. If you keep speaking limitation, you'll keep driving in circles. But when you begin to speak as if your destiny is certain, as if success already belongs to you, you redirect your life toward expansion. Abundance isn't just about money, it's a mindset of overflow. It's the belief that there's always more opportunity, more love, more creativity, more growth. Scarcity says, if they win, I lose. Abundance says, if they win, it means it's possible for me too. Scarcity hoards, abundance shares. Scarcity fears, abundance creates. The difference between the two isn't circumstance, it's perspective. The moment you switch from competition to creation, you unlock an entirely new level of peace and progress. You must train your thoughts the same way a warrior trains for battle. Discipline your mind to reject the lies of fear, to silence the noise of negativity, and to focus on the truth of what's possible. You can't afford to entertain every doubtful idea that comes your way. The millionaire version of you doesn't think in limitations. They think in leverage. They don't focus on what they lack. They focus on what they can multiply. Every problem becomes an opportunity for innovation when your mindset is trained to see value instead of loss. It takes intentional effort to speak abundance when you're surrounded by lack. It's easy to believe when everything's working. It's powerful to believe when nothing is. The real transformation begins when you choose faith over frustration and speak vision in the midst of difficulty. You are not defined by what you see. You are defined by what you declare. The unseen is always more powerful than the seen, and those who master their words master their world. Every time you say, I can, you open a new door. Every time you declare, I am, you shape a new identity. Words aren't just sounds, they're seeds. When you say, I'm capable, you plant confidence. When you say, I'm blessed, you plant gratitude. When you say, I'm ready, you plant momentum. The soil of your mind responds to what you say most often, and what you repeat becomes what you believe. The more you affirm your vision, the faster it starts to manifest. Thoughts of abundance attract clarity. You begin to see solutions others overlook. You start noticing opportunities that fear once blinded you to. You begin to carry yourself with assurance because you've convinced your spirit that more is possible. The millionaire version of you walks in expectation, not hesitation. They're not surprised when good things happen. They expect them because their inner world already reflects the reality they desire. When you think abundance, you stop settling. You stop discounting your worth. You stop accepting relationships, jobs, and habits that keep you small. You start making decisions from your future, not your frustration. Your energy becomes magnetic, your confidence contagious, and your vision unstoppable. People begin to feel something different around you because you've elevated your frequency to match your destiny. Abundance thinking teaches you to bless what you have while preparing for more. Gratitude doesn't mean settling. It means trusting that what you have now is the foundation for what's coming next. When you start living like you already have access to more, your actions become bolder, your creativity expands, and your spirit attracts increase. You start walking like it's already yours because in your mind, it already is. Your thoughts are currency. Spend them wisely. Every negative thought is a withdrawal from your future. Every empowering thought is a deposit toward your destiny. The balance of your inner account determines the wealth of your external experience. If you want your life to multiply, start by multiplying your faith, your gratitude, and your belief in possibility. You can't wait for people to treat you like you're valuable before you begin valuing yourself. The way you carry your energy tells the world how to respond to you. When you walk without purpose, when you speak softly about your dreams, when you shrink to avoid attention, you signal that you don't believe in the greatness within you. But when you elevate your posture, when you speak with confidence, when you show up like you belong in every room, people feel that authority before you even open your mouth. Presentation isn't just about clothes, it's about character. It's not the outfit that makes you successful, it's the standard you set for yourself. Dressing with intention reminds your mind of who you are becoming. When you take pride in your appearance, you're telling yourself you are worthy of every opportunity. It's not for others, it's for your own identity. Every morning you choose to look like your future instead of your past is a declaration that you're done living below your calling. You must decide to move with dignity even when no one is watching. Excellence is not a performance, it's a lifestyle. The millionaire version of you doesn't only act successful at public events or when the stakes are high. They practice success in private, in how they clean their home, how they speak to themselves, how they treat others, how they plan their day. Consistency in the unseen moments is what builds the greatness that eventually becomes undeniable. Confidence grows from clarity. When you know who you are and where you're going, hesitation loses its grip. The millionaire version of you doesn't question their worth or doubt their mission. They don't need approval to validate their identity because their vision already confirms it. They speak with conviction because they've rehearsed their purpose so deeply that Doubt no longer has a voice in the conversation. Act like someone who has options. People who see themselves as limited remain stuck. But those who realize they can create opportunity always find doors others can't even see. When you adopt the mindset that there is always another way, always another chance, always another route, that energy draws solutions to you. Prosperity flows to those who refuse to accept being boxed in. Your body language should reflect your belief. Shoulders back, chin up, eyes forward. Not because everything is perfect, but because your spirit knows where you're headed. Confidence isn't pretending there are no challenges. It's knowing that challenges don't get the final say. You walk strong not because of what you have, but because of who you are becoming. Don't allow insecurity to negotiate your destiny. There will always be parts of your journey that feel uncomfortable. Growth demands exposure. Exposure of your weaknesses, exposure of your fears, exposure of your dreams. But you must keep showing up with boldness. When you act small, opportunities shrink with you. When you act in power, opportunities expand around you. Your presence must announce your purpose. When you enter a room, let your energy reflect your calling. Let your mindset say, I am here with intention. People are drawn to clarity and repelled by doubt. When you are sure of yourself, even quietly, others feel it deeply. They trust you because you trust you. They respect you because you respect you. Carry yourself like someone who has already overcome the battles others haven't even faced yet. Because you have. You've survived storms that would have broken weaker people. You've endured seasons that required strength you didn't even know you had. When you remember what you've conquered, confidence stops being a performance. It becomes the natural weight of your truth. Everything in your life shifts when you start moving like your future self. You stop second guessing your decisions. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop settling for less than what aligns with your destiny. Your energy becomes a declaration, a silent announcement that greatness is not just coming, it has already arrived within you. Faith without action is just imagination. You can pray, plan, and visualize all day, but if you don't move, nothing moves. The universe does not respond to wishes. It responds to work. Faith is not sitting still waiting for proof. It is stepping forward while the evidence is still invisible. When you take a step toward your dream, even when you can't see the full path, that's when unseen doors begin to open. Movement activates miracles, and hesitation delays them. Every breakthrough begins with a risk. Faith requires you to do something uncomfortable, something that stretches you, something that looks impossible to everyone else. It's easy to believe when you can see the result, but true faith is walking when all you have is a whisper from your spirit that says, keep going. That whisper is not doubt, it's divine instruction. Every act of obedience positions you closer to the promise that's already yours. You can't keep waiting for the right moment because the right moment doesn't exist. You make it right by moving. Faith doesn't ask for perfect timing. It creates perfect timing through persistence. The people who accomplish extraordinary things are not the ones with perfect circumstances. They're the ones who act with imperfect courage. Every time you take action in faith, you rewrite your story. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you once believed. There will be days when your faith feels small and your fear feels huge. But even a small amount of faith, when acted upon, is more powerful than mountains of doubt. The difference between those who rise and those who remain is not talent, but trust. Trust in their vision, trust in their preparation, trust that every step is guided, even when the path feels uncertain. You don't need the whole staircase. You just need to take the next step. Action turns belief into reality. Faith by itself is potential energy, but when you move, that potential becomes power. The universe aligns with those who act. People begin to notice. Resources begin to appear. Opportunities begin to flow. It's not magic. It's the divine law of movement. As you go, things grow. When you act with certainty, you magnetize the help you need because you've proven you're serious about your purpose. You can't pray for success and keep behaving like someone who doubts they deserve it. Faith must match behavior. When your actions contradict your prayers, you create confusion in your results. But when your actions align with what you say you believe, everything becomes clear. You start living like it's already yours. And that belief changes your posture, your speech, and your energy. Suddenly, the world responds to you differently because you finally started responding differently to yourself. Faith is not a feeling. It's a decision. You decide to believe when it would be easier to quit. You decide to keep moving when everything tells you to stop. You decide to trust that the effort you're putting in is not wasted. Every step you take in faith is a declaration that you refuse to let fear win. Every time you act boldly, you're saying to life, I believe something greater is coming out of this. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means walking with fear in your shadow and refusing to let it control your steps. Every powerful person you admire felt fear too, but they chose movement anyway. They understood that hesitation is just fear pretending to be logic. But faith, real faith, looks at that same fear and says, move anyway. Action is how you silence doubt, not by waiting for it to go away, but by walking through it. The moment you act, you shift dimensions. You move from intention to manifestation, from potential to progress. Each action is a signal to the universe that you are ready for more. You don't have to know how everything will work out. You just have to trust that if you take one step in obedience, the next step will reveal itself. You walk by faith, not by sight, and with each step, your confidence grows stronger. Faith is not passive hope. It is active alignment. It is believing with your spirit and proving it with your steps. It's saying, I may not see it yet, but I know it's already done. That conviction changes how you move, how you speak, and how you show up in the world. It turns you from a dreamer into a doer, from a believer into a builder, and from a wanderer into a warrior of purpose. You don't transform by wishing, you transform by deciding. There comes a point where thinking about change is no longer enough. You must become the change. The decision to rise has to come from within, not from motivation that fades, not from external validation, but from a deep knowing that you were built for more. The moment you truly decide, everything around you begins to align. Decisions have energy, and when you commit fully, the universe responds to that conviction. Every new level of your life begins with a single internal command, this is who I am now. That sentence, spoken with certainty, has the power to shift your entire identity. You start thinking differently, acting differently, and seeing differently because you've claimed a new version of yourself. Transformation isn't about forcing change. It's about aligning with the version of you that already exists in your potential. You don't have to become someone else. You have to uncover who you already are beneath the hesitation. You can't keep waiting to feel ready because readiness doesn't come before the decision. It comes after it. The millionaire version of you doesn't sit around waiting for the right moment to begin. They move, they act, they commit. They understand that clarity follows commitment. When you take the first step, the path begins to appear. The longer you wait, the heavier your dreams become, because indecision is the weight that kills destiny. The world doesn't change when you say you want something. It changes when you prove it with action. Every day is a decision to evolve or to repeat. You either wake up and create momentum, or you wake up and fall into the same cycle of comfort that's been keeping you stuck. Your future is not waiting on your potential. It's waiting on your decision to stop treating your potential like a possibility and start treating it like a responsibility. You can't make a real decision while holding on to your excuses. A true decision burns bridges behind it. It means saying, I'm done living below my capacity. It means refusing to entertain old habits, old mindsets, and old stories that no longer fit your destiny. When you decide, the noise disappears. Doubt doesn't get a seat at the table anymore because your spirit has already made the choice. The decision itself creates a new standard, one that demands follow through. Once you decide, discipline becomes easier. You stop negotiating with laziness, you stop debating with distractions, and you start showing up differently. You begin to operate from the mindset of someone who has already arrived. The decision anchors you. It eliminates confusion because you've already determined your direction. You're no longer trying to figure out if it's possible. You're just deciding how to make it real. Every decision you make either reinforces your old identity or builds your new one. Each time you choose growth over comfort, you're feeding your future. Each time you delay or doubt, you're feeding your past. The power of decision is that it doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are becoming. And once you become, the world has no choice but to adjust to your new frequency. Everything you attract after that is a reflection of the person you've decided to be. Deciding doesn't mean you won't face resistance. In fact, every strong decision attracts a test. Life will ask you, are you serious? Through circumstances that challenge your consistency. But every time you keep your commitment,